I haven't felt the sun or the blowing of the wind. Don't know where it goes. Haven't heard where she's been. To be happy, stay strong, to feel love, to be known. I haven't read a book without skipping a page. I don't take the time, I don't know how to wait. To be happy, stay strong, to feel love, to be known. I haven't felt the stars, I haven't seen the moon. I wrote them all in song so I could sing for you. To be happy, to stay strong, to feel love, to be known. To be happy, to stay strong, to feel love, to be known.
Guys, back with a check-in on my book journal. I know it's a little more than halfway through the year, but I thought I would give a quick update. I haven't done a journal update in quite some time, so here it is. And I noticed actually in my journal that I started this almost, not quite, but almost a year ago. So I'm really loving this, and I think why I'm loving this is because I didn't really set any rules for myself. I was just kind of like a no judgment zone, and there's no like set and like layouts or anything like that. I just kind of like went by what I felt like I wanted to do, and it's worked really well for me. There were times when I fell behind, but I just kind of, did what I thought I could do and got caught up and whatever. So this is what I have done since 2026 started. So let's see. So here I have the cover page, 2026. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. So I just did some like cutout letters and a little bit of die cuts. And then for the next page, I was doing like a series tracker, which unfortunately I haven't done really well with those. I was also keeping track of what I was reading for like some goals where I wanted to read some more nonfiction books and then some more classics, and then the reading what I have, that kind of went by the wayside because I bought more books. So I guess I'm technically reading what I have, but it's because I've bought more. So that one I've kind of quit keeping track of, but I have been reading some classics and I have been reading more nonfiction for sure. So that was that. I do like this because I can kind of keep track and remember, oh yeah, I was going to start that series or what have you. The next layout was this one. While I really like the layout and I do like to keep track of my books, I was trying to keep track of them by like month up here, like by the color, and I kind of quit doing that. But I do like, it's really cute like layout and everything, and I do like writing the titles down so I can remember what I read and stuff, but I quit trying to keep track by month because I mean I know later on in the spreads what month I read them. I can find them that way. This layout I'm doing the monthly favorites. So as you can see, January was Starless Sea, February The Enchanted Greenhouse, March my favorite was Conform, April was Hello Beautiful, May was The Secret Book Society, June was Family of Spies, and July was Astral Library. And then I have a few pages here that I reserve to put book quotes in because I am like a big book quote person. So actually I could probably add some more here. I left a few pages to do those. So, and then I left a page to write down the ones that I've reread. I did reread Cerulean Sea because I read the sequel to that, and I did Harriet the Spy because I read that when I was a kid. So in January, I think these were the ones that I wanted to read, the TBR. Now see, this is the perfect example. I did a TBR in January. I haven't been doing the TBR spreads after that. Just because, I don't know, I never got kind of around to it, and I've been kind of just reading what I wanted. But that was my TBR for January, and I did read The Starless Sea in January, which I really loved, which prompted me to do this layout here that I really thought turned out really well. I did a little artwork here, and I put down, that book had so many quotes that I loved. I would definitely reread that book. It was very deep and provoked a lot of thinking. This was actually my January reads: The Library Girl, I Killed the King, The Starless Sea, Encyclopedia of Fairies, and A Shot Through the Book. And in here I would note, like, if it was an audiobook, if I got it from the library. Again, I did a spread on the Enchanted Greenhouse because I really liked it, and I wanted to do like a greenhouse layout. February, these were the books that I read for February. As you can see, I read a lot in February. Some of the months I didn't read quite that many. This was March. Conform, The Last House, The Heiress. I read that one on audio, so I put like a little audio symbol. The Library of the Lost Dollhouse, and a scrapbook of Frankie Pratt. And then April, I really like these die cuts. I got these from Journal Say online, And I reread, so I put reread here, the Cerulean Sea so that I could read the sequel to it, and I reread that, read that in May. I read this classic, Persuasion, because I went to go see the play. And I read a couple other books here, Hello Beautiful, The Lady on Esplanade Street. This is a really good ghosty kind of series. It would be good in the fall, too. This family has like kind of like an energy, or they can talk to spirits that I would say that like the dead, and they live in New Orleans, so it's kind of cool. So I did that. I did this spread for Hello Beautiful because I really liked it, and I had some good ideas on how to portray some of the things that went on in the book. And these are just strips of paper that I cut and made it look like paint dripping down, because there was an artist in the book. And that book was kind of a modern day retelling of Little Women in a way, which I love the book Little Women, and I thought it was very interesting how they retold it in a more modern way. And then Conform, I really love that book, as you could see, because it was on my list of favorites for the month. And basically just did like a very modern layout, because that book was like a dystopian futuristic book, and then kind of wrote some thoughts and like how the book was set up. And then for May, I did kind of like a picnicky, springy kind of look. And this was the book that came after the Cerulean Sea, which is why I read that again, so that I could kind of refresh my memory. I listened to both of these books because I was working on a project at work, and I had time where I could listen and work on something. So those two were audio. And then June, this is my layout for June. I really like making borders, because I think it kind of like it just frames everything and makes the layout look more cohesive. And then just like doodling around I just found some extra letters that I had. As you can see, some of the letters don't necessarily, throughout the journal, a lot of the letters don't necessarily even match. They're just kind of whatever I have left over. And some of these I've gotten at garage sales, I think. But just like doodling and doing like the little different stickers and stuff, I think makes it kind of flow. But I love doing the little borders and a little bit of washi tape and just a couple stickers sometimes. It's a quick, fast layout. And then just jotting down some notes about the books. And then July, same thing. I just did some washi tape and a few stickers. It was not anything that took a lot of time. And then I've already set up August. Yeah, this is a perfect example. I didn't have the U's for this font, and I also didn't have all lowercase for the word August. So I just kind of used what I had, and I think it worked pretty well. And then I just did some of these little dots. It's called stippling. I just did some stippling to kind of create a border, and then kind of like make room for like where the text is supposed to go and the book pictures. So I think that worked pretty well, and I like the way that this is going, and I still have this much left, so I would like to use this up for the rest of the year so I could kind of start on a new one, but I know I started in the middle during 2026, so we'll see where this goes. I'm not quite sure, but anyways, that is where I am for July. Happy journaling, everyone.